Hi,
Okay.
everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Future Tech podcast series. It's me, Charlie Sell, the Group MD of Arrows Group, and happy to say we're on to our second series where we are looking at cyber. It's Cyber Awareness Month around the globe in October 2020. So it's me interviewing CISOs, directors, owners, just thought leaders within the cybersecurity space, asking them a bit about their story, what excites them about cyber, and advice to anyone who is looking to get into cyber. So hopefully it will resonate and be of an interesting listen to many of you guys and girls who are thinking about this really, really exciting area. So really happy to have Notis Iliopoulos with me. I hope I pronounced that right this time, Notis. Um, Notis is a director at ADACOM. They're a global cybersecurity solutions consultancy, centralized in Greece, but with a reach outside Cyprus, the Balkans, even looking into South Europe now. So a really, really exciting area to be in. And Notice, great to have you on the show.
Great to be with you, and many thanks for having this conversation. Let's enjoy that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope I got your surname right in practice, but I think I might have got it slightly wrong in the actual podcast.
No, no, it was just fine. Trust me, it was one of, you were amazing. Compared to what I have heard in my life, that was amazing. Trust me.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. So let's jump straight in and find out a bit about your story and how you got into cyber.
Okay, how I got into cyber. This is nice. First of all, I'm into the cyber 23 years, which means that I have done nothing in my life professionally. Apart from cyber. And the whole story started back in London, something like 25, 26 years ago, when I was doing my bachelor degree in Royal Holloway.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. And it was, I think, the third or the second year that they had this nice MSc for information security. 25 years ago,
Wow.
nobody could thought about information security, cyber security, IT security. It was, just an empty space there. So Fred Piper, the great Fred Piper, the professor, he created this MSc. And my thought was, cyber security, information security is everywhere. So at least I would get a job. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is how I started with cyber security, information security. Call it as you want. I don't like the term cyber anyway. Um, so this is how I started. Then I came back to my country and I started working for the client side. I started with a telecom organization. Then I jumped into the Greek stock exchange for 5 years. And then I said to myself, okay, this is not a lot of risk. You want more risk in your life. So why don't you go to the other part of the fence and start providing services? So there I started, dealing with companies that they were offering security services. And since then, I've developed in my career, let's say, 6 business units in 6, of course, different companies dealing with security service provision and to information security departments. And I've been working in Greece, Balkans, Southeastern Europe, and the last 7 years I was working in GCC countries in the Gulf, located in Dubai, and now back to Greece,
Wow.
targeting again Balkans and Southeastern Europe.
Fantastic. So you've really worked all around Europe then, by all accounts, on the Middle East
Yes,
even.
yes, exactly. One
Great.
of the most exciting things in cybersecurity is that, something that works in that particular area and in that particular country does not work or does not work the same way in another country with a different culture.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to really learn the differences in cultures as much as the technology.
Exactly. And all these external threats that somehow enforce on organizations to invest on information security, is different because of the culture, because of the geopolitics, because of so many things. And this is something very exciting because you never, you don't have, let's say, the opportunity to relax in cybersecurity. You always have to be, to go hand in hand with the risk. That's why we like risk. It keeps us alive.
Oh, that's great. So I suppose that is really true then when I think about the political and geo differences across the world and how that has an impact on cyber. And it's quite topical at the moment, isn't it, when we think about America and Russia and even in the UK?
Yes, exactly. I mean, not only between countries, which, at the moment it's a great war, a big war. We all know about that, even though we don't, let's say, officially admit it, but it's there.
Yeah.
But it has also to do with all the external forces or with the different, let's say, cultures that they are living in the same environment. So all these people, they have different understanding of how they will implement the different controls and how they understand risk. And now more than ever, we can see that, all these different worlds, the cyber world, the digital world, the virtual world, and the physical world, they're becoming one with the use of technology. This is what we call cyber physical, or let's say security in general. And you can see that is having different phases in different countries.
Right, brilliant. And so that leads nicely then to think about future cyber and what excites us or what is exciting you. So when you're looking at it as an industry, where do you see it going? What's exciting around it?
What is exciting about there? First of all, let me start by describing what is not exciting there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, what is not exciting there is that after so many years that we have, established, we think that we have established, let's say, a good understanding and awareness about information security. We have tools, we have CISOs, we have CEOs that they are saying that they are concerning about the security of the information. It sounds like, an ideal period of time for information security. The thing is, we have all these things, but still we have a lot of attacks. We have breaches that we cannot find out, that they're actually there. We only find out after 1 year, 5 months, 6 months, and you start thinking, what is going wrong? We have everything. We have smart people. So what's going on? And when I look back like 25 years ago, the same fundamentals are still applicable, but still they are not implemented the effective way.
Right.
We started with information security, then we call it IT security, then we call it network security, now we call it cyber security, but still it looks that we are doing something wrong.
Because people can still get into systems or hack into systems and essentially take risk.
And because information security professionals, us or our colleagues that they are doing the CISO job, maybe they don't effectively explain to the people that they are the decision makers in the board of directors how security can help them to achieve what they actually need now, or organization or enterprise resilience. Information security is a fundamental, is a core, is a pillar of enterprise resilience, but we have to do it right meaning the effective way.
Yeah.
And if we go back to the question, what excites me in information security is just this, that, we're not still there. At the same time, the threat landscape is changing because we have new technologies, new people, culture is changing, people are changing, and still we are doing wrong the same things that we were always doing wrong in information security, no matter the underlying technology.
Yeah. Yeah. And does that lead quite, a thing that we've been speaking a lot in general within the tech space is the rise of artificial intelligence, the rise of data, and obviously our ability now
Uh-huh.
to be able to host more data than ever before with cloud infrastructures and AWS, Azure.
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
Has
mhm.
that had a positive or a shift in information security and how prevalent it should now be again?
Okay. What we have to consider a lot is the value of the data if we are talking about cloud. Okay,
Yeah.
so if we understand the impact of leaking those information, our information from cloud, then we have to adopt the right controls. The problem is that some organizations believe that if they put their data in the cloud, the security of those data is some other people issue, which is not true.
Right.
Even from compliance perspective, it's not true. It's your data. So you should make sure that the service provider is taking the right measures. It has the control. So you should audit, you should put your controls there, either technical or management controls. Okay. AI, yes, it's a whole topic, but AI can work both ways. It can help attacker to easily apply their attacks with, predict our responses and change the way they attack, but it can also help us to do the same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
The only thing that we have to make sure is, when we are developing the AI algorithms, again, we should go back to the basis of information security. Who has developed that? Are there any backdoors there? What about the bias in the algorithms? So again, this is the fundamentals of information security. It's
Yeah.
nothing new. So that's why I was saying that it's exactly the same concerns like 25 years ago, but we have to apply them to what is current. So
Yeah.
artificial intelligence is here to help, but we have to make sure that the algorithms are secure. Of course, we cannot guarantee that because algorithms, technology, software is made by people, and people could be biased.
Yeah.
We are people. We are human after all, right? So we cannot solve that. But we must have the right controls to check that, to validate that, to audit that, to make the right controls in place and make sure that we have the right tools, from the perspective we see information security.
Yeah, yeah, and that's really interesting because I think, like you said, the challenges haven't necessarily changed over the last 25 years, but the technology or the infrastructure around it, I guess, has. So that's why you keep having to evolve, and it feels like you're saying that it's constantly chasing the
Yeah.
utopia, I guess.
Who would have thought a few years back that, one of the major attack points could be the building management systems?
Yeah,
Okay, and things that we have never thought about that, for example, when I was back in Middle East, can you imagine someone that a hacker or a malicious user can play around with a building management system and, the air conditions stop working? Can you
yeah,
imagine that in a place with humidity of 90% and 40 degrees of heat?
yeah,
So immediately you have to evacuate the building. How you do that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And there are a lot of people that are taking advantage of the malfunctions and vulnerabilities of building management systems in order to get access to corporate lands, like they did with the cameras, and they are still doing with the smart cameras.
Yeah,
So again, the attack path landscape is large. Information is everywhere. So somehow we should make sure that we continuously assess the risk of information, no matter where that information is. Because in nowadays, our information flies away from our organization. We share the information. We are living in the shared economy era, right? We collaborate with other companies in order to create faster and more services with added value to our clients. So we have to make sure that this data transfer is happening with, with the right security controls in place.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's, this different perception of information security that has change or go back to the fundamentals of that. There is a life cycle of information. I have to follow this life cycle and have the right controls everywhere the information is. And I think that the model of just having one, continuous process of information security, it's not applicable anymore. To my understanding, it's time to have two continuous processes. The inner process or cycle, as I call it, that has to do about the adoption of controls, which means I do my risk assessment, I write my policies, my procedures, my governance framework, take it into consideration compliance, of course, because it's a core thing in our days. And then I have to adopt the controls, not just implement the controls.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a lot of clients that, to give you an example, that they want to install a data leakage prevention solution. And they think that if I do that, my sensitive data will not fly away from my organization. And then you ask them, okay, where are your sensitive data? Or what do you consider as sensitive data? And they answer to you like, Or they think that data leakage is just a tool, but data can fly away from different processes and for different systems. So it's not just a system, it's just a process, it's a program. You have to classify your data. You have to find out, the flow of your data within the organization, from business unit to business unit and from system to system. So this is what we call adoption.
That's
effective
really
implementation. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because I think that makes total sense. The difference between acknowledging or understanding security to actually adopting information security, and I think that goes across many other industries as well. But it must be so important here because it's you can write a risk assessment or a policy, can't you? That's the easy bit. Actually, embedding it and adopting it is the bit that everyone from stakeholders through to the tech teams and users need to understand.
Exactly.
Moving to then thinking about people who, hopefully a lot of our listeners here are people who are either in cyber or wanting to get into it. We have quite a large STEM graduate following. So what advice would you give to anyone who's looking to get into information security as a career?
Okay, that's an interesting one. I like this one. Okay, first of all, I would say that don't be in such a hurry to get lots of likes the easy way in information security. Do your homework at the very beginning of your career. And sorry for what I'm going to say, don't just read, in its charter, just the headline. Yeah. Just read the whole chapter. Just read the whole book. Yeah. There is no easy way. Risk is there, and you should be one step ahead. But the problem is that there are some other people that are already two steps ahead.
Right.
So there is no easy way. It's not just a like. It's a continuous process for you as a professional. Another thing would be, in order to build a strong foundation, you have to understand the basics. When we're talking, for example, about access control is applicable everywhere. Physical systems, cyber systems, everywhere. If you don't get the fundamentals right, you will never be able to understand the risks and apply the technology and the processes you need, right? Okay, that's for the technical part. But I think if you want to become effective, okay, either as a CISO or as a service provider, you have to understand the business you're dealing with and all these external and internal interested parties or threats that they are out there. Another thing would be that those that they want to become CISO, Chief Information Security Officers, you have to get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a lot of clients that they like to outsource a lot of stuff. We like that. Okay. It's for where we get paid, but it's not effective, not the outsourcing, but you have to get your hands dirty. And a good example for that is penetration testing, for example. Okay, everybody thinks, okay, I'll do a pen test. Okay, I'm covered. I did what I had to do for this year. But the thing is, the same client is calling you every year to do exactly the same type of penetration test, the same scope. Sometimes you can even give them the same report because they have never, treated those risks. But this is another story, right? So just have a plan on your mind. I mean, don't always wait for the consultant to tell you what to do. Yes, we get paid for that, but you also have to get your hands dirty. Do my job, not the easy way.
Yeah.
Okay, make me excel.
Yeah. Gosh, that's really good. I think that's a really clear message, isn't it? The one which was continuous learning. You've got to read the whole book, not just the headlines. And then, absolutely, getting your hands dirty across the full spectrum of cyber or information security and understand it, I guess, is a really key piece of advice there.
Yeah. And if I can add one more, that could be have an open eye on all these business trends and how you will support them. Because technology, yes, by nature, we follow that. We understand that. But what about the business?
Yeah.
What are the business needs there? And important is how you explain to business what is wrong and what you need in order, to fix that. This is super important. Have your eyes open. We are running a period of time where I think the information security profession is changing. And to my opinion, what's next is the convergence of digital information and physical security. This is a big thing. You cannot close your eyes and say, I don't care about that. Of course you care, because this is where we are getting. At the end of the story, if someone in an organization asks you, how secure we are, he means all the security risk, no matter if they are coming from the physical world or they are coming from the digital world. And when you have to respond as a whole in an incident, because there are a lot of hybrid attacks. So how you will deal with that?
Yeah. Gosh.
So we have to collaborate. We have to have our eyes open, okay, to exchange ideas, get our hands dirty. Not ready are there anyway.
I know what you mean. Brilliant. Well, Notis, what great pieces of advice. Thank you so much. That's been really, really interesting. And as I say, it's lovely to hear your story and studying in the UK and 25 years ago and then creating a total career. And then you're right in regards to how cyber is, it's not necessary, or information security hasn't necessarily changed so much over the years, but it's evolving, continually evolving.
Exactly.
And your advice to people entering the market on continuous learning and getting your hands dirty, that's brilliant. So look, thank you very much for your time. That's been really, really good.
Thank you, my pleasure. I enjoy that.
Great.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, that's another episode of our Future Tech podcast series. These episodes are going to be posted throughout October on both the Arrows Group website, but also on our Spotify and Apple audio channels. So please have a listen and please like and share. And one more time, a massive thank you to Notis for your time. That's been fantastic.